Basically, I had some fatigue, but like I still had so much energy at the same time that like the 4 days went by so quickly. I think it's the perfect, like Dunbar number, it's like 150 people, like friends you can get close to. And then after that, it's a little too much. I think like this was the perfect conference Dunbar number. I feel like it was a perfect conference number. And hopefully because Farcaster does so well in the future, it will be much, much bigger in the next coming years.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot. Did you watch the episode last week from the FarCon team? We actually had a really good chat about that.
No, I did not watch it.
It's all right. I just thought it to be funny. My wife's the only one that laughs at my joke, so. Welcome to the Crypto Consumer Chronicles, a Crypto Sapiens podcast. We meet here every week to define and demystify consumer crypto with the people who are building it. Make sure to sign up to our newsletter at cryptosapiens.xyz. Before we get started, I want to thank our generous supporters for helping us make this possible, which is Mosaic Labs, Optimism, and Bankless DAO. All right, intros out of the way. We're talking to Alex, founder and CEO of Showtime, according to LinkedIn, but Drakula is really where all the noise is. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You don't have to get too deep into how I got started in crypto, because I'm sure people can find that everywhere. But really, how that influenced your decision to start Drakula.
Got it. So I've been in crypto for a while. I was always focused on consumer use cases in crypto. So like consumer crypto really for the past 5-6 years. And basically the three things I've done that are notable in the space is one, the Alex token, which I guess is my break into the space. I go from regular Ethereum community member to like this guy now has sort of his thing, which is creator token, which is a category I kind of pioneered along with some other people back in 2020. And so the Alex token is a cryptocurrency with multiple use cases. The first one was crowdfunding, where I said, if you give me $20,000, I will give you back a portion of my future salary as an entrepreneur, because that money is going to help me move from my hometown, Paris, France, to San Francisco. And there's actually some people from Farcaster back then. It's 2020. There was Jacob from Zora, Dan Finde from MetaMask. MetaMask has actually a pretty big presence on Farcaster. And just like a bunch of people actually helping me out. So I moved to San Francisco. And then I'm like, all right, I want to do a startup. My first instinct is maybe I should do what happened with me and the Alex token to everyone, to every content creators. But I feel like the technology was not ready at that time. Crypto social was still a little early. And I did this on my own at a small scale, but could not really scale that. And so I saw NFT really boom, specifically digital art. That's when I started Showtime, which is 2021. It does really well. We raised $8 million from Paradigm and a bunch of great VCs. And so that's enough money to survive the bear market. We tried a lot of things during the bear market. And then towards the end of the bear market, we're kind of like, all right, like crypto, there's not much activity going on with content creators. And we saw actually creators who were kind of burnt out of crypto just move back to TikTok. They were like, well, TikTok is the number one platform. So if Web3 doesn't work out, we'll just go back to the default. And then that's when our team was like, oh, interesting. Like, I guess if we had to take a long shot at the space and really build crypto social, we should probably tackle the biggest company out there, which is TikTok, and the most popular content format, which is video, short form videos. And so decided to do Drakula. We changed the name because Showtime has had so many iterations that people were kind of confused about what Showtime was. We swayed so wildly since the digital art days. It was something completely different. And so called it Drakula. We wanted to vampire attack TikTok. So it was like the vampire vocabulary. And it was actually pretty crazy because initially Drakula was like a mainstream product we had in mind, like USDC, credit card. Because when we thought about it, which is December, so 5 months ago, because we're recording in May 2024 right now, December, there was really no Farcaster crowd. And then on our way to shipping this, I started being a bit afraid, like, oh my God, like I have no real go-to-market. I have no audience to market this to. When you say mainstream, it kind of means nothing. And I see Farcaster frames really explode. And the rest is history, really. It's insane because basically we integrate degen, and we do a couple frames on Farcaster to kind of market it. And on day one of our launch, we have $1 million in volume. Now we have like 25 million. We have a creator fund now with degen. Like, it really went crazy with the Farcaster community, and that made me extremely bullish on it. And so that's how I went to what Drakula is today.
Thanks, man. You just given me so much there that I want to unpack, hopefully slowly, but maybe quickly as well. So the first thing I want to ask you, which is unrelated to Drakula, but really where you come from, I want to learn a little bit about the crypto community where you come from. Like, how did you learn about crypto there? Like, is there a pretty big kind of really well-connected community out there, or was it purely URL?
I think it was purely URL. Basically, there was no one in crypto in France when I started getting interested in it. It was 2019. And so 2019, really, crypto doesn't exist in France whatsoever. It's really tough. No, basically what happened is I created like a group of young people interested in tech. There was one guy in that group that was also in crypto. And we kind of meet the Elon Musk of France, called Xavier Niel. And we were kind of both interested by Silicon Valley and tech. And that guy was like, well, I have a philanthropic school in Fremont in South Bay, so close to San Francisco, that's free. And even the dorms are free, so you should probably go there. And so we went there. And then around that time, I went on Twitter a bit more. That's when I met my first crypto community friends, Peter Pan, James Young, Koopa Troopa. And so these people are all Americans. So no, I don't think it's the French community that got me there. Now, I guess because I'm more known in the crypto space, I got to meet some great people from the French ecosystem. But really in France, I was a total nobody. And frankly, most people were nobodies in France in crypto because there's not much going on. Apart from like maybe Mark Ziller or like the founder of Sorare, which is like the soccer credit card, soccer NFT project, sorry. But yeah, otherwise, it was really all URL.
No, that's amazing. And I mean, I think that just goes to show the power of crypto as this like digital community building tool, right? Because there's a lot of URL elements to this. In fact, I mean, I've been kind of dabbling in the space since like 2016, but really more seriously later in the 2017 year. And I remember, like first of all, the social tools weren't there. But I remember that like the way that we activated and mobilized people was purely digital, like, using traditional social platforms too, which I want to get to obviously, because I think that that's really where Drakula shines. It's comparing it to traditional Web 2 social, and really that's where it ends. After that, there's just so much more that Drakula offers that traditional Web 2 platforms can't, either because they're too slow moving, right? They're these giant machines that just need a lot of this like regulatory oversight that a startup can afford. But also because, maybe their communities just don't want it. I remember Discord for a while was going to start adding like crypto natively, and the community went crazy. And I was like, really, right. Gamers? Like, you don't want crypto? All right, that's weird. But tell me about like, first of all, I guess, tell me about the transition between social and Drakula. I know you talked a little bit about already, like what you were building there and how there was a lot of different iterations where you wanted to have a very clear brand for what you were building now. Yeah. Aside from, I think Showtime was more like focused on like NFTs and NFT marketplaces. Is that where it ends? Like really just more of that crypto relationship in terms of like just being about crypto? And then how is Drakula now positioning itself with like TikTok? Because I'm trying to get my wife off TikTok. Can I get her on Drakula?
Yeah, for sure. We got G-Money's wife already on Drakula. She's big on TikTok. Sheila Vasquez. So hopefully we onboard more wives and more women to the space, because actually TikTok is really like there's actually quite a lot of women on Drakula, which is cool. And so it really opens up the space to more people than just the usual developer crowd, etc. So I think Showtime initially started as Instagram for NFTs, where basically it's digital art. You are a creator, you connect your wallet, and then on all the different NFT platforms like SuperRare, Zora, OpenSea, you would just see all of them under an Instagram UI. So like, comment, share. There was a feed. That was V1. It did really well for the first 6 months, because I think the space was still the users were learning what platform to use. And then what happened is really OpenSea took over the market completely. It was really the only platform for most NFTs. And so that made people need an aggregator like Showtime less important. And so when that happened, we were like, all right, like, we just raised a bunch of money, so we can try for a long time different things. Let's experiment with. So the common thread has always been bringing more people on chain, creating a social media app with crypto as a differentiator. And so we did a bunch of different things. I think at one point it was a way to create an NFT for free, which was on Polygon, and that did actually okay. Like, it was interesting. We were subsidizing gas fees. It was before smart wallet and the kind of abstraction, like Baze and Pimlico and newer teams now are like taking the technology much better. But at that time, you could create an NFT for free. That was pretty nice. Then we did something with music artists, because during the bear market, music artists were a pretty big persona. They were the ones willing to experiment because they're not making much money off Spotify or of, the music industry is famously known for not paying artists enough. And so they were experimenting with Web3. And so we did something where if you could pre-save a song on Spotify, which is a very common call to action for artists on social media, you would earn a free NFT. And that worked actually pretty okay. That was like around 2023. And that was the last big thing that we tried. We tried a bunch of other things that I did not mention, but the idea maze was long. And then I think, like when the music artist went back to TikTok after they didn't find much success in Web3, we were like, all right, like TikTok is the place to be. And just like Farcaster started with Twitter as a template and then slowly deviated with frames and actions and all of these new crypto enabled features, we should probably just model TikTok at first and then see what can be done. And I think at that time, SocialFi was gaining traction with Friendtech and other things. And I was the original SocialFi. I built the Alex token. And so I was excited about the creator token category. And so the initial idea for Drakula was, let's do SocialFi and TikTok, where the differentiator really is you can make more money as a content creator or even as a user, just betting on creators you think will do well and will gain more popularity. You will be able to make more money than TikTok ever gave you. And so far it's been true, because like some creators have made like 6 figures in DGen. So I think like the funny thing is, so we released this TikTok mixed with SocialFi. So nothing is really on chain. The videos are off chain, but just there's like this token that can trade off a creator at any given time. And I guess in the feed, you can see a creator you like and you can buy their token. What was funny is the price denomination is DGen. And so DGen went up drastically, not because of us, I think. I think it was more because of 4844. Like basically L2s became much more affordable. And we launched the day of 4844. And so there's a lot of volume on our app. And then DGen goes up a lot. So I loved it because it was targeting the Farcaster people. And we basically redirected the meme coin craze of DGen and gave it to creators. And so that was great. I think there's a great article about Vitalik that actually mentions Drakula, Vitalik Buterin, where he's like, don't try to avoid chaos or to ignore chaos, embrace chaos and use it in a good way. And it seems like that's what Drakula has done. Drakula has taken the chaotic DGen growth and at the right time, just gave that to content creators and fans who's been speculating with DGen on content creators making TikTok videos.
Yeah, I love that. Just to kind of like address the creator or chaos thing that you were talking about, excuse me. It reminds me of one of the things that Metacartel talks about a lot, which is Moloch. But you found a way to harness Moloch, right? Because like
exactly,
for anybody who's listening who doesn't know what the heck we're talking about, like Metacartel, and I don't think it started with them, but they definitely are one of the biggest, I guess, lore crafters of Moloch, where there's this god of like chaos, disorganization. Oh my God, I can't speak today. And, DAOs at one point were considered the way to rein back Moloch. But it's really cool to see that it's like, well, wait, hang on. We don't have to like keep it away. We just need to throw a lasso over this guy and like control it, because chaos might be good.
That's so amazing that you mentioned Meta Cartel, because Meta Cartel is basically how I started. Like Koopa Troopa, Blockchain James, Lucas from Bankless, and now Pods, Peter Pan, obviously. Like these were the people where I started. And yeah, I think like the story goes, so Moloch DAO was a way to organize around Ethereum too, so developing Ethereum. And then I think Peter Pan wanting to join, and I think got rejected by the DAO. And so he was like, okay, fuck this shit. I'm going to fork Moloch and do Meta Cartel. And Meta Cartel, instead of funding Ethereum infrastructure and technology, we're going to fund applications. And so I guess Peter was really at the really start of consumer-facing applications on top of Ethereum, which is now, I guess, the Farcaster world is kind of taking over that thing. So really means a lot that you mentioned Meta Cartel. I love Meta Cartel. I feel very loyal to them. Like they really helped me. And a lot of people from Meta Cartel went on to be super successful. Like Koopa Troopa now is this famous influencer, investor and builder. And the Fire Ice DAO with Blockchain James and Callum and these people, they've done the airdrops of ENS, of Gitcoin, really impressive token economics people. Anyway, love this crew. It's really the OG crew. It's like the homebrew computer club of the 70s, like trying to understand computers. These were the guys, the weirdos, the troublemakers behind consumer crypto apps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I definitely want to like second that. I definitely think Peter Pan was at the forefront of consumer crypto. So I definitely love to follow his work still with his investment company. I can't think of it. What is it called again?
1KX. He's a partner at 1KX. Yep.
Yeah. I think I love to see the work that they're doing. I definitely think that they're at the finger at the pulse of innovation and change. Also very fortunate to have met many of the people that you just mentioned right now from Meta Cartel. I absolutely think that as a community, they are some of the best at what they do. And I personally tried to join, but I was way too late to the party. At that point, I think they had already closed memberships. But I've been a longtime supporter and contributor to like MCon and awesome. MetaCamp and all of these different things that have like a lot of the same values or share the values of Meta Cartel. So that we're kind of coming back to not TikTok, please, Drakula. Actually, hopefully it is as synonymous to TikTok soon. Right. Tell me a little bit about like the creator economy, the creator fund, because you were talking about how like people are able to monetize their content in a way that they couldn't before now with Drakula. Obviously, Degen has played a big role in that. Tell me a little bit about that. Like the relationship with Degen, obviously being early before it like mooned was, I'm sure, very helpful. But now, like, how do you continue to build around Degen? And I want to add another question to that, which think about this. How do creator tokens come into play in the future beyond Degen?
Makes sense. This is such a good question because this story is completely crazy. I didn't sell it much, but it's such a crazy story. So basically, as I said, initially, we're not planning to implement Degen. We want the creator tokens to be USDC, and then maybe with some tools, we can just abstract it with credit card and just call it USD. Then we see Farcaster boom. And I'm like, all right, like we should probably do something with the Farcaster crowd. And I think about Degen, and I'm like, oh, like what if we could integrate Degen in our app? Like that would sound pretty crazy. And then if Degen grows, because it was still a pretty small coin back then, I think maybe 100K, 100 million market cap and 20,000 holders. So not a very big crowd to start with. Now it's like, I think over 500,000 holders. So it's really a massive thing now. But the thing is, that would be a big favor to the Degen community. Maybe I should go ask Jacek, the founder, for a grant. But the price was super small. And so he's like, oh yeah, sure. Like, I guess I'm happy to give you 10 million Degen. And so like, okay, great. And then we integrate Degen. And on day one, we just completely blow up. Everyone's talking about it on Farcaster. And because we have this thing where you can pay with ETH also, and it swaps with degen, it's pushing the price up as well, which is nice for them. And so on day one, straight away, Yesek is like, oh, Alex, like this is so amazing. It goes beyond my expectations. I'm happy to give you another grant. And I'm like, all right, because degen is about to go up a lot, I'm probably going to take it. And so we get 20 million degen. And in the same fashion of taking, degen and making it grow, that 20 million degen turned to over $1 million. And the thing with Yesek was always, give that money to creators. That was kind of the intent of degen, actually, that he told me. He was like, I always wanted to give it to content creators for spreading the word about degen and Farcaster, etc. And so it's been now, I think, 7 weeks that every week we've been giving roughly 1 million degen per week to content creators, which has been a lot of money for them. Some people said, oh, wow, you just paid my rent for the week. So it's been pretty cool to see. So yeah, there's basically 2 ways we've paid content creators. One is the creator token mechanism, because just like any SocialFi product, the creator gets a fee every single trade, whether it's buy or sell. And so that made, I think, depending on the degen price, because it's very volatile, but I think it made creators between $1 and $3 million. And so then separately, we got this grant from integrating degen that became worth a lot of money. And so that we've been redistributing to a lot of people. So that's 2 ways degen paid people, which is the grant creator fund like TikTok, but for content creators paid by degen. And 2, the creator token model, which is there's a fee in it that pays creators. One more thing we've done on top of degen was when the degen chain launched, there was a meme coin called GOAT that launched. I think there's multiple one now, so it's a bit confusing. But we got like 300 million GOAT or something, and we used a tool called stack.so to create a claim frame where everyone who was active on Drakula could claim, and also were part of the channel, or like there was some eligibility requirements. I forgot which one, but basically, if you are using Drakula, you would gain some degen. That was pretty fun too. And so that's on the degen L3. And so far it's been a great, it's been awesome partnering with them. Honestly, they've definitely, they were our go-to market. And there's a good piece by Legion about meme coin as a go-to market that I think we're like one of the first to do, but there's been other companies doing it like Alpha Friends and others. And it's been amazing to see.
So yeah, again, first of all, I want to congratulate you, I guess, on being early and shooting your shot, because I think that as a founder, sometimes it could be a little nerve-wracking, right? To think, hey, I'm going to go and ask for a grant from this project that's never heard of me, or this project. Maybe they've heard of me, but they never heard of the project that I'm building. And especially as something is starting to like rise, like degen was when you got your second grant, I think that is definitely, I want to give you your flowers. Great job. That's definitely worth imitating. Yeah. And then you also talked about one more thing to hear that I'm curious to unpack, because points is not new, right? Points, that's a very Web 2 system that's broken, in my opinion. Anyways, it's obscure. It doesn't really give you any rewards you care to collect. I mean, I think the only ones for me are like my airline, and even then it's not fantastic. It just promotes spending more. I wonder if you can describe a little bit about your thought process as you talked about points, especially when you shared about Stack, because Stack, good friends of mine, Brad previously from Lens, Graham, obviously, building that. I'm very excited for what they're doing. In fact, anybody who's building points, I always say, just go to Stack. You have a system that works. They're very friendly, eager to help you. Walk me through your thought process of points, and then Stack and the way that you've integrated and how you would continue to use it if you had another way to use it in the future.
Yeah, for sure. So we started our app with points straight away. So we have a point system called Drip. Previously it was called Blood, but then people were like, this is a little bit gross. So we renamed it to Drip. And so the more you use the app, the more drip you get. That's pretty straightforward. And then, as you said, the Stack team is really amazing. And I think Bradley helped me a lot think about this. I think the way he told me about Drip, the way to think about it was, we are building a casino, basically like the initial place where you get the drip. And he was like, now get them to spend the points at the resort. And so what that means for Drakula is we need to find ways to spend the drip that people earn. And right now there's only one use case, which is you can tip people. But we're still kind of figuring out exactly what drip will be useful for. Maybe it will be a little bit like warps on Farcaster, which means paying for on-chain transactions without having to go through in-app purchases via Apple or go through another website to buy it or something. And so people could maybe give them points, and so that would be able to do on-chain transactions for free in an invisible way. But so yeah, like right now, basically, we kind of started the system just to keep track of what everyone's doing. I think it's been successful because, for instance, we were like, oh, like if you share this video on Warpcast, you get 5,000 drip. And there's been like 20,000 cast or so on Farcaster. And I'm pretty sure it's motivated partly by this. And so that's great because we basically got people to share the word. And usually like when you ask users to do something, when you're using a product, I think psychologically the users are like, oh, like this is like some work they're asking me to do. But if you kind of have a reward next to it, it's like the productivity books, right? It's like if you want to be thinner, like maybe say before Netflix, I have to like run for 30 minutes. And it's just kind of the same psychological thing where it's like, all right, not everyone wants to post on Warpcast, but what if we give you 5,000 drip? Like you don't know how it's going to be, what it's going to be useful for or worth in the future. So why not do it? And so we got a lot of cast for this. But yeah, right now I think drip is not a token, not on chain. But ideating around ways to either spend it, make it financial. I've been intrigued by Friendtech and the Friend token. I think it's been pretty interesting to see. We'll see, but I like drip. I think it's fun. And more soon. And probably if we do anything, as you said, it will be with Stack.
No, that's great to hear. So a bit of alpha there, I suppose. I was trying to pull more alpha from you, and I'm going to respect the fact that you said let's hold off on that. But anything that you're excited for that's coming up. I know we still got some time here to talk, but I do want to like make sure people that are tuning in are equally as excited as I am. Because I mean, again, if you use the app, you can see why I'm excited. It's really the fact that it's connected to crypto for me is doubly more exciting. What are some of the things that you're most excited? Maybe let's frame this from the creator economy.
Yeah, for sure. So I think from the creator economy perspective, so this is actually what makes us different from TikTok. TikTok will win over us on views, obviously, like on virality, like all of these things. It's really hard to get to 1 billion users. But the one thing we can beat TikTok with is creator monetization. People are making more money on Drakula, even when the market is not insane, like sometimes it is in crypto. I think on average, we can definitely pay content creators their fair share, and even people who are fans of creators, like with the creator tokens, where like if you buy low and sell high, technically you can make some money of this fun game. So one thing I'm very excited about that we will not like release to the public until like a week or two, but that seems pretty interesting, is the fact that our videos are not connected to crypto. So I guess I can tell you the problems, and I'm not going to sell the solution. But the problem, I think, with the current Drakula product is one, the videos are not connected to crypto whatsoever. So we'd have this TikTok thing, and then we have this SocialFi, buy, sell creator tokens, but they're really not connected to each other. And there's really no link between if you do well or not. I guess the link I could find maybe is that if your video does well on Drakula and you're like at the top of the feed, then more people may want to buy your token. But it's a very loose link. I think we want to do something where there's something more about videos and the crypto world. And I'm pretty excited about. That should be ready pretty soon. And so we're working on this. So that's one thing. And then, like I've always been fascinated about incentivizing watching videos. I don't think we'll be able to do it. And it kind of inspired what the next product will be, which will be like in a week or two. But basically Western would be so cool where like you would just swipe videos and earn meme coins or like legit coins like Optimism or Gitcoin or whatever. And I think that could be pretty cool. It could be like the future of advertising where you earn money just doom scrolling. I think an app like this will grow very fast. And so the product we're doing in the next 2 weeks is loosely related to this, but it's not exactly what to earn because there's a couple problems. I think people can farm it very easily and abuse the system, and it's tough to fight against it as of now. But anyway, so some little pieces of alpha, which is one, connecting crypto and video. So like the app makes more sense. Right now, the app is kind of like, okay, it's a bit TikTok, it's a bit SocialFi, but really it's kind of two products coexisting without real links. And the second thing is it would be cool if you could incentivize watching or incentivize just engaging with a creator in a more crypto native way. And I guess creator tokens is one stab at it, but again, not really linked to the videos or the views or anything.
Now, all good. So one of the questions I had, I guess I have two questions. One related to content creation. So my main platform are podcasts. So one of the platforms that I'm very excited about using often is Pods. I can go on chain-ish. Using that platform, through Drakula, I share short clips of my content. So I'm very excited if there's a possibility of doing that on chain. I think that's what I'm hearing. What else would you recommend to someone who's a content creator? Like, are there good examples? Would you be like, hey, just go check out this account? I think that this is a really good example because I am not a TikToker. I'll tell you that right now. I actually never downloaded or opened the app. Are there best practices to creating content through something like Drakula?
Sure. Yeah, I've been actually very interested about podcasts and NFTs. We actually have a lot of podcasts on Drakula. There's Bankless, Lorishin. I hope you are on there too. I think sometimes I see some Consumer Chronicles stuff through Leo Clark, which reposts some podcasts.
Oh,
there's
interesting.
There's Laia
We're
Halberd.
CryptoSapiens.eth. We've connected our Warpcast there. So,
nice. Amazing. So cool. There's Laia Halbern, who's a famous Bitcoin podcaster. So yeah, like we have got a lot of podcasts. Adam Levy too, Levy Chain. I think what's interesting is the fact that you can boost podcast minting, or I guess boost any minting. And there's like 10 startups to do this, right? There's Royceco that's coming out soon. Boost.xyz is the most famous one, maybe. Layer 3 is like their own website with Quest. Zora, even the minting platform, has a boost feature, which is not incentivizing, but more subsidizing, but kind of same philosophy of making it easier to mint. And to me, what's interesting is if you incentivize a mint of, let's say, your podcast, you get way more mints, obviously, because people want to get the reward. That gets you to, let's say, 50,000 mints or like some large number of mints overall. And then you kind of show up on all of these platforms like Zerion Wallet, Coinbase Wallet. And so it turns content everywhere on chain. And so going viral on chain is a very interesting experience where you don't go viral on one app, you go viral on the entire internet, technically. And so to me, like incentivizing becoming like the on-chain billboard, where instead of paying the platform, you pay creators and users, because I think creators also get a small fee every time someone is minted with their thing. You can configure that with Boost.xyz. I think that's super interesting because that actually may defeat TikTok at some points, where maybe one app cannot get to 1 billion users, but you have Coinbase Wallet with like 5 million users, Zerion with maybe 500,000 or 1 million users. So I don't know the numbers. Like if you actually, concatenate every single front end, could maybe be a big number if your mint is incentivized enough that it gets a lot of mints. Or maybe it's organic. Maybe people just absolutely love your mint for XYZ reason, and that's why they mint it. I think that's going to be very cool to see. And so to me, that's the best practice. It's like figure out when you do a mint, how can I incentivize, how can I boost this mint with a token or anything? And if it gets me to trend on Mint.Fund, Zora, Coinbase Wallet, Zerion, that's going to give me a lot of advertising. And then when the advertising runs out, because it's everywhere, you actually make it a lot more organic mints, which also makes you money and is a good business model. So again, a little related to our new feature. I keep being like beating around the bush, but excited about that.
Personally, I've only recently discovered Boost. I think that there's a lot of other creators there that are using the platform really well. I think you mentioned Levi, Adam Levi, also Koopa Troopa with their newest podcast. It's really cool. It's really exciting to see how platforms like that can be used to accelerate, I guess, the discovery is the first thing I would say of your content.
Yep.
Because I think everything, to your point about like if you go viral in one place, you're kind of going viral everywhere, is because of like the on-chain connectivity, right? That all this content has. I guess my question to you is, it's specifically when it comes to better aligning creators with their fans. What are some of the things that you think we're missing today? Obviously, tokens and points are good for kind of greasing the wheel, if you will, just getting that discovery and reward system built out. But is there anything that you're seeing, as a founder and developer of a creator platform yourself, that you're excited about? Maybe some experiments that you've heard of that people are tinkering with, or even like that are being built directly onto Drakula?
Makes sense. Yeah, that's a good question. So how to better align creator and fans? I would say right now, so SocialFi is a lot of this bonding curve model, which is what we've used, which is basically a creator makes money every trade and the user can buy. But I think there's a problem with this model. It's like it actually does not align creators and consumers well. And many people, Koopa Troopa told me this. Actually, I talked to the Mr. Beast team once, and they told me this as well, where they're like, well, your system, the bonding curve system, inherently hurts people. And it's been a big debate with Ted and nonlinear.eth about the fact that meme coin are a little bit zero sum, where it's a gambling game. And sure, it's honest about it. It's not trying to hide under some pretense. However, it still will burn people mathematically, unless it is really mostly PvP, meaning that you will lose some money if you are on the wrong side of the equation, you sell at the wrong time, etc. One thing I'm excited about that will align people better and creators and their fans better potentially is Fabric. I think that's one tool that could be built on top of Drakula, as you said, which could be interesting, where Fabric is a stable price. So no one is getting burnt. You are paying not just for the casino game, but you are paying for some utility that you unlock. And so it's like, okay, I'm not being robbed of anything. It's like I'm paying this to get exclusive access, some exclusive experience. I think that model is much more aligned with creators. And there's still some incentive for fans, right? Like we're not completely going back to Patreon where it's pure altruism. Still, there is some sort of pool, I think, of funds, and you get incentivized for sharing it. There's some incentive for the front end. There's a lot of microtransactions to make sure that people make money if they are early enough, if they can share the revenue. I think because now Farcaster channels are being decentralized, there's a Fabric subscription where you can earn revenue from the meme channel. And I was making some memes with Nonlinear last night. It was pretty fun. But so basically, I think Fabric, by having some incentive but a stable price, could align creators and their fans better. And it could potentially be integrated within Drakula at some point. Maybe not short term, but definitely interested by this model. And I think if you're someone very famous, with over 1 million people, you would probably prefer Fabric. That's how we're gonna onboard the next billion users. It's via apps like Fabric, because the crypto bonding curve model is inherently more for crypto people only, because otherwise you will feel burnt out or annoyed and frustrated and may not actually check out crypto again. And also, so you get burnt out. And then there was something else I just forgot. That was overall, like it's just not, people want something where they earn something for sure and the price is stable. Yeah, like also it stays affordable. I guess that was my other point, which is Fabric is always the same price. And it may not work out because it may not make enough money for crypto degens to pay attention. But if you're Mr. Beast and you have 10 million people, actually the first 1,000 people will still make a ton of money, even though it's a bit less, exponential in terms of returns. Because there's so many people, you may actually still do 1,000x or 100x or 10x returns if you are the first 1,000 Mr. Beast fans on the Mr. Beast Fabric hyper sub. And so to me, like, that's one example of a way of making the bonding curve ecosystem with Pun.Fun or any SocialFi app you can think of. I think we need to graduate from that world if we really want to get after 1 billion users, because that game is inherently a little bit too small scale.
Yeah. I mean, so what I'm hearing from you, and I think this is a really interesting question, is currently I think the virality of tokens specifically has to do with speculation, right? There's a lot of speculation at play. The question that you're posing now is the paradigm of virality changed through platforms like Hypersub when there is no speculative speculative nature to the subscription, to the token? Could it be powered by creators and the content and their fans, which I think is like very different, right? It's like, no, I want to buy this token or buy time, as Hypersub says it, right? Because I care about the creator. I want to follow them. I want to be more connected. I want to be able to get some airdrops from them. And I want to collect all their content in a very simple way. Instead of, I want to buy a token because there's a likelihood, because of their influence, that this token's going to go up. Or just generally because we can, as a community, change the value of that token over time. And I think that's a really good question, because I think that for creators specifically, I think that's something that's very different or unique to them. That might not be, I guess, it's the same for other communities of users of creator tokens.
Yeah. And again, like, it can be about longer term speculation, but just less short term. Like, bonding curve is very, very short term. Here, like, the Fabric Hypersub I see that are doing well is Cooper airdropping with the Koopa Troopa subscription, NFTs that could be valuable in the future, or the memes channel on Farcaster where the money from the subscriptions goes to the top memers. And so to me, it's interesting because you will still expect to make some money because of the fact that money goes back to the Hypersub in some way, via gifts or something. Plus the users, there's actually a literal pool in the smart contracts for the early users. And so to me, that's cool because it introduces fundamentals into investing in a creator that is not present in a bonding curve. A bonding curve is pure attention economy. The more eyeballs, the more buyers, the higher the price. But really, there's no fundamentals whatsoever backing the price. And I think it's a nice way to bootstrap on-chain social. And that's why Drakula has been excited to try it out. But I feel like Hypersub could be cool because even though it is still, it's not just basically, we are going full utility and no speculation. It is a bit more speculation, but speculation over something that is fundamentally potentially real revenue. And so we're getting a bit more serious and longer term. So that's really good.
Yeah, more like a sustainable, I guess, speculation versus something that just immediately cuts people out. So I'm going to bring in a question from someone in our audience. Plants NFT, thank you for sharing your questions on Unlonely. You're going to get a 420 DGen. Yeah. Drop. So check in with me after the pod. The question he had to do with Drakula and Farcaster, specifically when with videos playing natively on the app, not Drakula, because I know that that's a whole different bag of worms. The question is Farcaster or Warpcast a competitor if they do native video on the app instead of people having to go and do this on a separate client, which is Drakula?
Right. Honestly, I don't think so. Actually, like, even Dan said this at FarCon, like, he was not very much a video guy. Like, videos are added on Warpcast, but we kind of had to like tell the Farcaster team, like, hey, like, we'd love native video support. Would this work? And it works. Like, on Warpcast iOS, there is video support. And so when you upload a video on Drakula, if you connect your Farcaster via Nanar, you will be able to cross post to Farcaster. But to me, really, like Farcaster is not really a video platform as of today, at least. And they're taking a widely different direction, which I believe is the best approach. Like, I think Dan also talked about this because after FarCon, the big debate of FarCon was, aren't we all competing with Warpcast and they're just going to crush competition and integrate whatever works back to their Warpcast app? I think the approach we took is we are just going maximally different from Warpcast. We're not a text client. We're a video first client. It's more about social and money versus Farcaster is less about speculation or financial stuff. So I really feel like so far it's been great. I think a lot of videos on Warpcast have been uploaded from the Drakula cross posting. So we actually are some of the bigger ones uploading videos to them.
Yeah.
So actually, we're adding videos to them. Like if we're not there, I don't think anyone is doing it. So we're contributing to the diversity of the content type on Farcaster. And I think so far we've had a really good relationship. Plus, one thing that Dan noted about Drakula is that Dan said, like, Drakula did not give anything back to Farcaster. They just like came in, did the DGen stuff. It's not even really a client. We're not fetching anything from Farcaster. We're pushing things to Farcaster.
Yeah.
And so Dan was like, stop always saying we're the ones that are mean and eating the piece of the pie. Drakula came in like a vampire and just like,
I was going to say that. You literally vampire attacked Warpcast.
and so then it was like, and that's okay. And that was like, that's the part of Farcaster. It's like, we are an open social graph. Yeah. If you're building a good app and our users go to your app, then kudos to you. And so honestly, so far, I feel like we've benefited a lot from Farcaster. I don't feel competition. I think the team has been amazing. And as an entrepreneur, like I really admire Dan Romero and Varun. So I'm really impressed with what they're doing. And I hope to build a very big app and client and protocol in the future, maybe. But like definitely they're really inspiring versus competitive.
Yeah, I mean, I want to remind people, I think the team over there is focusing on Farcaster, the protocol. Warpcast is just a way to get people to use the protocol. I mean, at one point, Farcaster was everything. I don't know how early you were, but it was like Farcaster the protocol, Farcaster the app. But obviously, they needed to distinguish that to show that there was an opportunity there for others to build too. Because if you're just calling everything Farcaster, then what's the point? One of the things that really excited me at FarCon was the conversation of new clients coming into the ecosystem. So going into FarCon, we already knew Supercast, Nook, they were there. After FarCon, we saw Kiosk being announced. We saw Sonata being announced. I mean, I personally think Drakula is another client, maybe not so, by the traditional sense of defining that. As you say, you're not calling for any data from Farcaster now. Can we see Drakula be the video client of Farcaster?
Yeah, for sure. I think like we already, and I just casted this a couple of days ago, like we already have more and more Farcaster-like features. So we have sign with Farcaster, we have the Farcaster checkmark. So actually we just did the maths, like half of the Farcaster power user checkmarks are Drakula users. So we really captured a lot of users from Drakula. From Farcaster over to Drakula. The videos are cross-posted, so we are pushing the videos to the Farcaster protocol. So to me, there's quite a lot already that we have. I think I'm missing some other stuff. Oh yeah. Also, your social graph, your following and follower count are visible on Drakula. Soon they will inform the feed, and so your feed will show you Farcaster following videos. So if your Farcaster following is on Drakula and they posted videos, you will see them on your feed on Drakula. So to me, like we are really getting deeper and deeper integrated with Farcaster, and we'll continue to do so. The one thing that may be lacking is that we don't pull existing videos from Farcaster onto the Drakula feed, and we could potentially do it. But to be honest, one, I don't see many non-Drakula videos on Farcaster. I don't think it's the best format. And like, I think Farcaster is just much more known for frames or for just images or text. And so I'm curious, maybe we could do something. And even then, if we do fetch some forecaster videos, are they really videos that would look well in a short form video app? Not necessarily. And so we'll see if there is, but if there is another video client that's short form and their videos are on chain, maybe we could pull from them. And then if we put our video on chain with Drakula, maybe they could also pull it, even though the on chain part will not be on the forecaster protocol. Well, I guess I'm just realizing our videos are on the forecaster protocol because we cross post them. So actually, another client could take the Drakula videos and do it other than Warpcast. So to me, honestly, because we're creating the video category, there's not much to pull from Forecaster. It's not just that we're anti-competitive. If there was some other videos, we would do it. But yeah, long story short, I think we are a client to the best extent we can. And if there's more ways to become a client, we'll definitely do it.
Just to kind of share with you my workflow for Crypto Sapiens. So we record a podcast like what we're doing right now. We stream it to X and Unlonely, which I love Unlonely. I think what they're doing there is pretty badass. Then my team, my editors, take this video, make it look even better than it already does. Then we upload to pods. We cut up shorts and we upload to Zora. And then after Zora, we go to Drakula. So nod, wink, wink. It'd be great if I could unify that flow a little bit better. So, just to share with you what my flow looks like and what I would be more excited to see
so you're
as far as
shorts,
an integrated ecosystem.
You're uploading shorts on Zora?
Yep, on Zora natively.
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah. So if you go check out cryptosapiens.eth on Zora, you'll see that we've been uploading our content since our previous series called On-Chain Alpha. And then with Crypto Consumer Chronicles, and we're having people mint those for enjoy because, we want to be part of the meme as well. And I think it's pretty cool that you can mint with some of the local tokens of that economy. So, yeah, for me, it's pretty exciting. But there's obviously always an extra step. And after this call, actually, I'm going to go upload the last 2 videos because there's also a limit as to how many videos I can upload in one day. And I'm going to upload the remaining videos that are currently live on Zora. So it's been really wonderful to hear from you, Alex. Honestly, this has been a treat for me. I promise.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Humpty. Honestly, this is so cool. I love what you're saying. Maybe it's the end of the podcast. I can say it, but we are thinking of bringing our videos on chain. Looking at Zora for sure. It's not official yet. We're still in talks, but could be great to unify the two for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 2 powerful platforms, 2 at the forefront of content creation and the creator economy. Well, since we've reached the top of the hour, anything that you think we missed here that you definitely want to make sure we touch on?
I think we covered quite a lot already. That was awesome to talk about Meta Cartel and Drakula, how it went, the creator fund. I think that's most of it. I don't have anything. We just launched a creator group chat for power users. If you guys want to join it, feel free to DC me, DM me, cast me, tweet me. If you want to join to share feedback, suggestions, or just get support from us. If you need anything around Drakula, we just launched it yesterday. Apart from that, I think that's it.
Well, thank you so much. I'll make sure to jump into that group chat because not a power user yet, but I plan to, especially through Crypto Sapiens.
Amazing.
Personally, I'm very slow at the content creation thing, but through Crypto Sapiens, I do a lot more.
We'll try to win you over.
Yeah, no, you will. All righty. Well, Alex, thank you so much for your time. Let us know where we can find you, where we can find Drakula and, keep up with all the latest.
Yeah, for sure. alexmasmej.eth. And so Masmej is MASMEJ. It's actually a short form Masmejean, which is French. And then at Drakula, which is Drakula the Vampire with a K. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.